Hi, I'm Leye Adenle. I'm a Nigerian crime thriller writer. I also do speculative fiction, and also my speculative fictions are thrillers. My literary universe is basically anything that is exciting. I do have a preference for books by African authors, obviously, authors from the global south, and most especially authors who are writing amazing books but do not have the opportunity to be read by a large enough audience. Right, my latest book in French is Tu vas bien se passer. It's about corruption in organized corruption in churches. It's about pastors, wealthy multi-millionaire pastors, and the way they dance, as it were, with the devil and eat with the devil and basically represent the devil instead of, what Christianity or religion should be about. So it's, if you like, an expose of the kind of corruption, the criminality that has come to define organized religion in most of the world, not just Nigeria. The Nigerian multi-millionaire pastors are actually fashioned after the American Pentecostals, who in my books are criminals separated by the ocean. Originally, I wrote it in English, so it's published in English. It is also published in French, obviously, and in German, and I think there might be a Spanish translation coming up. So I got into acting by accident. When I was in primary school, I went for acting classes as after school activity. So I went to an acting school with my siblings, but that was just for fun. And then in England, a friend of mine invited me to a friend was doing a play and they were auditioning, and he asked me to come over because they needed a character and he thought I'll be good for it. So I went to have some fun, and then I got 3 parts in the play. And from then I started getting parts in plays. So I particularly love stage. So I've done a few stage plays in England. I've also done a cameo on a TV comedy. And I've also shot the pilot for a TV series. It didn't get picked up, but yeah, I prefer stage. Amaka is not entirely, the stories are not based on a real person. However, what Amaka does and the people she does it with is real. There are people out there, women, who they need an Amaka in their lives. They need the government to be Amaka. We need the laws to change around sex work in Africa, in Nigeria. We need people in that industry to be protected as any other citizen of the country will be protected. So even though my stories are fiction, they borrow greatly from the plight of people who are caught up in the adult work world without the protection of the state. Because in Nigeria, it's criminalized, which is a shame, which we need to do something about. It's Lagos noir. It is, if you think of noir fiction and think of city noir, think of Nordic noir, but then think of not a whole country, but a city, Lagos noir. So that would be the color of my book, of this series. I would say that the way to describe this series is, it is quintessential Lagos noir. Amos Tutuola, Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka. I read a lot of non-African writers growing up, so I did read a lot of Hadley Chase. I read a lot of the Mills and Booms books, which were romance. And there was also a series called Pacesetters, which was by, I want to say Heinemann or Macmillan, I can't remember, Macmillan. And he had some of the best genre fiction writers ever that I've come across since before then and since then. And I think every single one of the stories that I read has influenced my writing. In fact, the very first book in the series was a nod to the Pace Setters series. The story with Metaye was that I was born under a lucky star. It was at the Paris Book Fair, I believe, that my English publisher met with the edition Metaye, and magic happened. So we've come full circle because this is where Leye and my English publishers met, and yeah, good question. Thank you.